What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV. Back with another live stream. The season has finished, the dust has settled. Had to wait a couple of weeks before getting him on, but he's in the building. Kev's in the building. How are you, bro? Good to see you.
Kurt, good to see you, bruv. Everybody in chat who are going to join, or if you're watching this after, at ease, man. It's time to get into this Arsenal talk. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. First of all, before we get into the show, I'm driving in the car, radio on. And up next after the break, we'll have Kevin Campbell. Then I'm coming home, Sky Sports. Kevin Campbell. I'm like, yo, Kev, been a good season for you, ain't it, work-wise?
Hey, work-wise, it's been sweet. I've got to say, Kurt,
Yeah,
having three teams in the Premier League does help.
yeah,
And
definitely.
having three teams in the Premier League staying in the Premier League for next season.
Yeah,
Got to big up Nottingham Forest, because
yeah, of
enough
course.
Forest fans watch you.
Yeah,
I'm proud of Forest, man. Listen, it was a bit of a joke, people making jokes about them at the start. But the key is just stay in the league. And they done it a week early. And then Everton obviously done it on the last day. So
yeah,
I've got three teams in the Premier League again for next season. So it was a good time for me work-wise, definitely, Kurt.
yeah, yeah. Well deserved, Kev, man. Good to see it as well. Um, let's talk about the Arsenal, of course. That's what you're here for. Um, it's funny because the way the season was ending, it kind of fizzled out a little bit. The last couple of weeks we're watching games. It's like, well, it was already in the bag for them. I suppose now the dust has settled. Things have calmed down a little bit, and I'm trying to cling on to what we did well and where we can go moving forward. But obviously, that still little, what could have been feeling is there with the title. How do you feel overall? We're gonna go into more detail as the show goes on, but in general now, how are you feeling about the season?
Well, just everything you've just mentioned, Curtis. I think we all felt that. And we still, do you know what? I think what's important, we still carry some of that with us.
Yeah,
We still carry some of that with us because do you remember the season before, or going into last season,
yeah,
missing out on fifth? We carried that with us like a pack of rocks on our back, man.
yeah.
And the team carried it, and it was painful. This time it's painful for different reasons. Curtis, we're in a title race, mate, against this Man City team who, as you know, they could do the treble on Saturday.
Yeah,
So for us to go toe to toe at times, we were leading the pack, but we know it's a marathon, not a sprint. We came up a little bit short solely because if you look at our squad, we were going hell for leather with our best 11. Soon as you start, there's injuries and we have to start adjusting a little bit.
it's
We're
not
just
there.
not deep enough, unfortunately. We had some good performances. Trossard came in and Jorginho. They done as well as they can. We saw some Reece Nelson do some business for us. I thought when he got a chance, I thought he done all right. You know what I mean? He come in, especially that Bournemouth game.
Yeah,
But Curtis, the problem is we're just not deep enough.
it's the players.
Latte, the machette's here. The machette's in the sheath. I couldn't even draw it
Hey,
today.
Kev, enough man asking about the top, man. Is that Win the Dog that Arteta was talking about?
Listen, Win the Dog, he's got his Gucci trackie on, bruv. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Proper,
He's
proper
living
track.
life. He's living
Yeah, man.
life now. But Curtis, it's a painful way to go,
Yeah,
but we know if Arsenal would have won the league this season, that would have said everything that's wrong about this league. Because you would say, hold on, Man City, what's happened to Man City? No, Man City produce when it really matters. And as we're seeing, all they've done is turn it up at the end. And we couldn't live with it, Curtis. Look, we dropped points against teams where we should have been winning. That Southampton game at the Emirates, mate.
oh,
I look at games like that, and we could have taken it to the last game. That's what I would have liked,
yeah,
but it weren't to be, Curtis. But you know what it's going to do, Curtis? I know there's many people who look at the Cronkies and say, they're not serious, they're not this, they're not that. Now we're going to find out.
I'm one of them, by the way.
But now we're going to find out, Curtis,
Yeah.
if we're serious. And I think they are. I think they are serious. But we're going to find out now. Because now, after finishing second, and we could have won it, are we going to go to that next level to say, we're in this to win it now? We've got the squad. Let's go and do it.
Kev, when you come on, I always like to tap into your knowledge and you've been in dressing rooms that have won titles and trophies. What do you look at in this Arsenal team and think they need to add to get over that finish line? Because you've won titles, you've had young players, you've been a young player in a successful dressing room. What is the team or squad maybe lacking in terms of character, or what do you think they need to add?
Maybe a bit more experience, Curtis. I've got to say that. I've got to say a bit more talent as well. Because you know what, Curtis? Here's one thing I will say. We've watched this Arsenal team, and Arsenal, let's be honest, from the majority of the season, they've been unbelievable. But one thing we haven't been enough is ruthless.
Agreed, yeah.
We haven't been ruthless. Where we should be battering teams 4 at home, it was 2-1.
Yeah.
It was 3-2. Do you know what I mean? It's too close. You see, Man City playing on 50%, 60%, they're wiping teams 3-4. We didn't really have that luxury as much because we're still learning to be ruthless. And I think when you bring in players, now that we're in the Champions League and we can bring that level of player in, it's about killing teams early. Then you can make your changes. Because, after Man City go 2 or 3 and up, De Bruyne, he goes and has a seat. He goes and sits down.
Yeah.
You can make all your changes then, but the game's over. We didn't have that luxury. We were going hell for leather all the time. And that's one thing we've definitely got to learn. But that comes with adding quality. That comes with a bit more maturity in the team, which they're going to be a year wiser next season. But having that we know the manager wants to be ruthless, but the players have to be able to execute it. And slowly but surely, I think we're getting there, Curtis. And I know, Curtis, we won it like it was yesterday, don't we?
Yeah,
We won it like it was yesterday. But, guys, I've got to say this. I don't want it just for one season, Curtis. I want it for a decade. I want it for 20 years. I want Arsenal to be up there challenging. No divine right to win, but I want us challenging for all the top honours for the next 20 years. I don't want one season. I want it for 20. And in order to get that, we've got to keep building that foundation. And this summer now is going to prove to be the key.
I mean, Kev, Strikers Union. Gabriel Jesus come in last summer. 11 league goals. Obviously, we have to account the injury 3 months out. Who knows how many goals he would have scored during that time. Do you feel like we need another striker, a different option to Jesus?
I think we need a different option. But Curtis, if I'm honest with you, I never saw Odegaard double figures, Martinelli double figures, Saka double figures, Jesus double figures. I mean, you combine all the goals. That's a lot of goals, mate, from sharing it around.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying, and I agree. Because there's times where I don't want Jesus to be taking the beating up front on his own. I want to be able to rest Jesus, or Saka could rest. Jesus could play right. Martinelli could rest. Jesus could play left. Trossard could come. We need to be able to be flexible, but we have to share the goals around. Because I tell you why. If we have one striker who scores 30 goals, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli don't score as many. That's the trade-off, Curtis.
Yeah.
And that's the tip that, we've got a gun man up top. But wicked. But if the others drop off, that don't necessarily mean we're going to win either.
Mm.
So I would like somebody of size.
Yeah.
If I would thinking if Ivan Toney weren't suspended,
Yeah.
I would have liked to see him because he could do a bit from the bench, he could do a bit starting.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a perfect dovetail. But
100%.
who knows? Who knows?
I think what people are looking for is that plan B. The thing with City that we've sort of seen this year that we've never seen is in tight games, they'll just whip a crossing, which you've never seen that. A high ball in, Haaland wins the header. You're like, yo, they got so many different options now.
Yeah, don't forget, Curtis, they were whipping crosses in against us and Sterling was scoring and Gundogan and they were scoring headers against us, the small guys.
Yeah.
So let's have it right. It's not just because Haaland's there where they score headers. They do what they need to do to win. They've got players who get in the box who can score. But I think the way we play, Kurt, you're right. Yeah. We do need somebody with presence. Yeah. Not all the time, but against some of the bigger teams, you need someone up there who's going to cause a problem. Tony Vlahovic. Yeah. You go and sign a Vlahovic, you think to yourself, okay, we're serious.
Mm.
We're in the Champions League now, Curtis. There's no Europa League. We can play a diminished team. No. Everybody wants to come and play in the Champions League. Everybody wants to play in the Premier League. So now we're gonna have to have the squad because you know what? Domestic cups are important now. You win a couple domestic cups or you win one of the domestic cups, it sets you up for the rest of the season. So I think we've got to take it all very seriously.
Just looking ahead to next season, because we're sort of in a situation now. We've set the bar high. Arsenal fans now, start of the year we were going, oh, just get us back in that Champions League. Now we're going, hang on a minute, I need to see a title soon or I'm vexed. What do you want to see the club? Because people are sort of saying, okay, we're in the Champions League. Can we win it? Can we go far in it? Do you think we need to start taking the cup competitions more seriously as well alongside
100%. It? Curtis, 100%. That's why I said, everyone's coming to play Champions League football, Premier League, and the domestic cups. That domestic cup team has to be on point because, Curtis, we're going to be there. The team picture's going to have no silverware in front of it.
Yeah.
I want to be celebrating, man. I want to be coming on there saying we've won something.
Yeah.
But we haven't won anything. So I think when you strengthen the squad, I think when you rotate, we've seen rotation in the FA Cup and League Cup before, and we've been nowhere near as strong. Let's be honest. We've been poor. Yeah. But now, when you're in the Champions League, everybody's got a part to play. Everybody's going to play games. So we've got to be going for everything. That's what I want. That's what I'm saying. For the next 20 years, Curtis, I want Arsenal to be a winning machine.
Mm.
We saw us winning in the league, in the cups. We capitulated. Why? Because we couldn't do both. And I know they're pros and all that, but you still have to play some of the lesser players because you may need them somewhere along the line. We just weren't good enough. That's the bottom line. We just weren't good enough as a squad. But now we're in the Champions League. We get the chance to buy the better quality. And that's why, Curtis, we're going to see if the ownership is really serious.
Yeah.
If they're serious, we all can go in the same direction.
Yeah.
But if we pussyfoot around, then it's gonna. Sometimes it creates more questions than answers.
Yeah. There's been a lot of debate going on between Man U and Arsenal fans. I don't know. Just a quick side note. I want to know your opinion. People saying who's had the better season: second, no trophy; third, with a trophy. How do you view that? Because this is a competition that you won the League Cup. So
Curtis, when Man United have their team photo,
that you don't need to say anything else, Kev. I know exactly what. Yeah.
Curtis,
They sort them at
I'm
the front.
proud, and I'm not saying we haven't had a positive season.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a successful season, but it's been positive. Why? Because we've got into the top 4. We've got Champions League football again. We had a title run in and finished second. So there's a
Yeah.
positive for you. But ultimately, Arsenal, we're judged on trophies. We are judged on trophies.
Correct.
So, and you know what? This goes for maybe some of the younger fans. Don't turn your nose up at a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup. Don't turn your nose up, because I'm telling you,
Yeah.
they are still hard to win.
Listen, I totally agree. We've been saying this, football's about trophies, Kev. You go in your trophy cabinet, you want to see things in there.
You want to see medals.
Yeah.
You want to see fans come up to you and say, "Listen, when we won the FA Cup and the League Cup in that season, I was at Wembley. I went to." That's the talk. Not, "Oh, we've got Champions League football." That's to be expected. We fell off a little bit, but now we're back on it. Again, we've got to be on it 10, 20 years regular. And how we're going to do in the Champions League? Listen, the truth of the matter is, we ain't winning it. I don't think we're winning it, because no team just gets back and wins it, because you have to build your squad to understand all the bits and pieces about traveling away, the teams you're going to play. There's a learning. We're learning fast, Curtis.
Yeah.
But what I don't want is the Champions League to take the view off the league, because do you know what? We strengthen where we think we're going to strengthen. I want to be getting to that last game and knowing we can win it. That's the key.
I think you're right. So just to round that up, really, the target has got to be, again, to go and challenge for that title, and it with a stronger squad and a better opportunity of pushing them.
100%. And you know what, Curtis? I want to beat City. When City come to our place, I want to brock them up. It's always tough going to their place.
Yeah.
And you know what? The game at the Emirates, we kind of gave it to them because we made some crazy mistakes.
Yeah.
But when we come up here, they broke us up, mate. That's what I want to be able to do to them. But we've got to strengthen. We've got to strengthen.
Have to. I mean, just looking at it, big up everyone tuned in. Nearly 2,000 in here. Kev's in the building. Well, you know what? We're actually not even disagreeing. People said in the comments, I can't believe how much you're agreeing, but it must have been a good season somewhere, Kev.
Well, Curtis, you know something? We would agree on some things, and we would disagree on other things. But I think our hearts are still in the same place, going the same way. We want Arsenal to be successful. And are we gutted? And listen, people could say we bottled it. Some would say we didn't bottle it. We just run out of it. Whatever terminology you use, we didn't get the job done.
Yeah.
So how are we going to get the job done moving forward? We've got to up the quality, and we've got to up the depth in our squad. That's it. We do that, all of a sudden, you're playing with a stacked deck now. That's all Man City do. They play with a stacked deck. Did you see? They played Everton late on in the season. Did you see their bench?
Yeah. They rested enough, man, innit?
About 5, 6 man they rested, and the level never dropped one bit. That's what we have to be. We want to compete with them. We want to get in the Champions League and make some noise. That's how deep we have to be. So we have to be ruthless in the way we attack these things. Because you know what? Xhaka, rumor has it he wants to leave. Why? I think because he probably don't want to be a bit part player.
Agreed, yeah.
You know? Yeah. He sees himself as the main guy, and he has been the main guy this season. He's been unbelievable. But Curtis, with our main guy, City wiped us. So what does that tell you? That tells you you're a main guy, but
you're not the main guy. You might be our main guy, but you're not.
You can't be the main guy with us moving forward.
You know what? I like that talk, because that's what I'm on. Listen, Granite, great season. If you would have been prepared to just maybe sit down an old bench, but if you want to start, the level's got to go up. You might have to go Leverkusen then.
Yeah, and do you know what, Curtis? Fans have this connection with players, which is great. But I'm a realist, and if I want to win, sorry. If I want to win and I want Arsenal to win, nobody gets an easy ride. Nobody.
I'm telling you, mate, gotta put Granite in the headlock.
Gone. See you later. Next.
Oh, dear me. Oh, that is quality.
And he's had an unbelievable season, Curtis. I'm the first to hold my hand up and say, Granit Xhaka, you have been sensational this season.
Yeah.
But the problem is, Curtis, the yardstick is bigger.
It's moved up. Yeah. Nick Brook. Hey, do you know what, Kev? I just want to say, somebody just put a comment in, and I've said this before, right? Do you think that the fan base has to kind of, I don't know, sometimes I feel the fan base have to be demanding. We walk around going with the Arsenal, mighty Arsenal history, big fan base, but then sometimes I feel like we let the owners off the hook and just accept whatever's given. Do you feel like now?
Really?
No, I'm telling you, I think they do.
A couple of seasons there was a protest out there.
Kev, they had one day.
Yeah, but it's still protests. So I don't think
hype.
I truly don't think, Curtis, the ownership have, since they've taken full control, I think we're starting to see the foundation go in, investment go in, and the team start to improve. I truly believe that. But just like anything, Curtis, when it comes to moments like this, where, okay, we made a significant jump to finish second and challenge City. Now we're going to find out, Curtis. Right now is where we're going to find out. Because let's be brutally honest. And sometimes it's not the amount of money, it's the quality that you bring in.
Yeah.
Because we've seen teams, you could spend 300-400 million and your team ain't any better.
Chelsea.
Right? They're worse. They've got worse. For Arsenal, it's about what type of quality are we going to bring in. If we bring in the right quality, we're going to be a very dangerous outfit. Very dangerous. And there's going to be a ruthless edge to us. I think we need 6 players, 6 starters. Because when you mix and match, the teams, whether it's in the Carabao Cup or the Champions League, the teams have to be able to, there has to be no drop-off. There has to be a high level. So we're going to find out from the owners if they're serious. I don't think the fan base give them an easy ride. No chance. But I think the fan base, this is the time the fan base is going to find out about KSE.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
100%. And listen, don't get me wrong. I agree that since they've took full ownership, they've improved. There's no doubt about that. But it's that next, you got us top 4, but innit?
Now's the time. I'm sure it's you, Curtis, who keeps bringing out Stan Kroenke saying about when joining the club that he didn't join to win and all this kind of madness. Well, let's find out now, because you know what? They win. All their other franchises win, and they've made all the right choices at the right times. Now they've got an opportunity to really make a significant push. So let's see. I think they will, because I think they'll get found out if they don't.
Agreed. I hope, I agree. I mean, you said there, Kev, I want to talk transfers a bit as well, because it is transfer season. You said you want 6 players. Just in general, what positions are you thinking we need with them 6?
Two or 3 midfielders, 2 defenders, potentially, and a striker or real attacking midfield. Someone else who can score goals.
Yeah.
Because, do you know what? If Arsenal don't get a striker, but we strengthen everywhere else, I think we'll still be good. Here's the reason why. Because when you're playing against the top teams and you're behind, that's always where we say, what's the plan B? What's the plan B? But if we're not behind, you don't need a plan B. Because you're expecting the team to go on and win the game. And you have to stay in the game. That's where we kind of faltered a little bit last season. Whereas, again, getting the right players in this time, hungry, young, full of legs, bit more speed in the transition from midfield to attack, from the center of the pitch, a bit more speed in there. I think that's because that's what we see City do. That's what we see Gundogan do. That's what we see Foden do. They do that, they play with economy, and then once they see the gap, they kill you. And they're ruthless at it. That's what we've got to be.
I mean, the interesting thing there, Kev, we always hear about the young team, with the youngest team. Does he need to, like you said earlier, you think you might need some more experience? I could imagine some of the best players have had big egos, at times been difficult to manage. Does he now need to step into that maybe difficult bracket, because we look at Odegaard and people like that, they train well, they behave well, they're good. But, does he need to now say, listen, I know this guy might come with some baggage, but this guy might win me a title? Does he need to start going for them big names, big personalities?
Well, here's the thing, you see, Curtis. When you've got the dressing room how you need it, getting people to come into the dressing room, it's very difficult for somebody to come in the dressing room and disrupt it, because it's everybody's going a certain way. And when you speak to the players, listen, you've been involved in transfers and all that, and you speak to the manager, and they talk about the dressing room, and then you look at the players that's there, you think, I could fit into this dressing room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely. Maybe, Curtis, the question is, not do Arsenal need to go where people are a little bit chippy, but do they go for the characters?
Yeah.
Because I think Arsenal could do with a little bit more character. Because let's be honest, Granit Xhaka, he's probably the biggest character of the lot. He's got that chip. The fans like him because he's up for it. We need characters. That's what we need. We need characters. And I think, listen, the guy's got a game on Thursday, but rice and peas. I think he's got a lot of character.
Yeah.
I think he's got a lot of character. And people say, listen, 100 million, if he's going to be the stalwart, the centerpiece for the next 10 years, that's 10 million a season. That's cheap money, Curtis. Cheap money.
Well, let's talk some names then, because I've got some names written down here. I mean, you brought up Declan Rice there. We've spoken about him before. I mean, everyone's saying that Arsenal have done work for months. He's very interested in Arsenal. It's just a case of you don't want it to turn into an auction with West Ham where United throw in money and Bayern and then it gets too high. Do you feel like that deal, there's a good chance of it happening? And where do you think he plays in this team? Do you play him in the deeper role where Partey is, or in the more attacking role where Xhaka is?
You can play him anywhere you want. And that's the beauty. Once you've got him in the building, let's deal with that bit first. Once you've got him in the building, there might be certain times where, Martin Odegaard, you go and sit down. We're going to play, let's just say, we're going to play Partey at the pivot. We're going to play Rice on the right-hand side, and we're going to play Caicedo on the left. These guys have got legs to burn. These guys are tackling machines, interceptors. And you've got Partey there, who I thought had an outstanding season, just fell away right at the end because as a team, we just didn't have it in us at the end. We didn't play economically enough. But
Yeah.
you think about that, Kurt. We have the option to be able to mix and match. Thomas Partey can go out. Rice could sit in the holding role, or Caicedo could sit in the holding role. That's the type of flexibility as a team we need. There might be other games where Caicedo, Rice, Partey sit down, Odegaard comes in. We've got to be flexible. We've got Champions League game on the Tuesday. You know, you're ready for the music and all that,
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Curtis.
I'm ready.
And then we've got a big game again on the Saturday. So we've got to be able to rest, mix, and match this squad. I just think, I look at Arsenal and I look at the wage bill Arsenal have. Now Arsenal are back where they supposed to be.
Yeah,
That wage bill has to catch up.
definitely.
The wage bill has to catch up. And listen, let me just say this here now. Saliba's going nowhere, mate. He's going nowhere.
Kev, let me just say, right, it's 2:32 on the 6th of June. If Saliba ain't here next year,
he's going nowhere.
Come on, give us your insight. Give us your opinion.
He's going. Curtis, look, when you have a player of that talent in your building,
Yeah.
his first season in the Premier League, and you nearly win the league. A lot of people say our fortune died when he fell out the team.
Yeah, it did really.
So, do you reckon, Curtis, to replace him is going to cost double what you're going to pay him? Pay the man. And I know it's a negotiation. Saliba loves it, mate. He loves it at Arsenal. He's going nowhere. Arsenal are going to re-sign him and keep this core of youngsters together. And we're going to build. We want to see these guys for the next 5 to 10 years doing it. Then you know we've got a real chance when they mature.
Well, you've heard it. ITK, Kev, dropping the bomb. Here we go. Do you know what it is, Kev? I don't think any Arsenal fan feels like, Saliba wants out. It's more that PTSD of Sanchez and Van Persie. And we're thinking, because let's be real, Kev, you know, as an agent, you're going to sit there now and go, yo, don't turn up with no 120 grand a week. He's your best defender. He's in the French squad. PSG want him. You better give him a big bag of money.
Yeah, but Curtis. All right, Curtis. If I'm Arsenal.
Yeah.
And we made an offer. And that 120 was a long time ago, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So you go to his agent and you say, well, okay, what do you want? And you find out, you hear from him what he wants. And you're going to give it all the faces on the other side of the...
Yeah.
You're going to give it all the faces because it's a negotiation. That's what it is. It's a negotiation. They're going to get it done. You're going to see Saliba with the big smile on his face with the pen. You don't let players like that leave your football club, mate. No chance. So they're going to get it done. You watch.
I mean, we spoke for a long time before he actually came back, didn't we? We had multiple talks about this guy, but just overall now the season's done. I mean, this guy is just different gravy, isn't he, Kev? Like, he reminds me of like Van Dijk, Rio Ferdinand, that kind of, but what a player he is.
He's unflappable. And let's be honest, he was learning on the job as well, Curtis.
Yeah.
Because there's certain games where he got caught out a little bit, which I think we recognize he's a young player. He's going to get found out a little bit because he's in the best league in the world. But the way he makes us better, just his unflappable nature, his calmness, and what a lot of people didn't give him credit for is his quality on the ball makes a massive difference to our team.
Yeah, starts the attack.
Huge difference. He could drop a shoulder and he could zip a ball into midfield, pass through an eye of a needle, and that then gets us on the front foot. We kind of lacked that when Holding was there because Holding's not as good on the ball. But you don't let this man leave your football club. Not in a month
Mm.
of Sundays, mate. No way. No way. He's our player. He will get signed. Come to an agreement on the bread, because the bread's got to be right. The hard old bread's got to be right.
You know what I mean? If you're gonna have your
Please.
rice and that, you gotta have a little harder bread and
A
your
little
jerk
bit of
chicken.
hard old bread's got to be ready. Go warm. It's got to be
Yeah,
warm. So we're just
yeah,
about to
man.
warm it for Saliba. But he's
Yeah.
gonna resign, mate. He will.
Big up everyone putting super chats in. I'm putting most of them on the screen instead of reading them just so the flow. But big up Cliff, who said he's listening in Miami on public transport. So big up Cliff, and big up Jashar as well. And so Mikel Arteta likes what he sees in Saliba. Listen, no brainer. He has to.
Mikel
And
Arteta can't believe his luck.
can't believe
Think
it. This brother was
think
out on
about it.
loan.
Think
Yeah, man.
about it. He fair play to him. He said, stay in France and stay at Marseille. He came back in, and from pre-season he's been sensational.
Yeah, he's a
Kurt, he's
beast.
been sensational.
He is, man. I just want to talk about a couple of stories that have come up today and get your opinion on this. Man City player Gundo. There's a report saying City have only offered him a year and he wants a longer deal. They reckon Arsenal have spoken to his agent about a 2-year deal. Barca lurking, but Barca trying to put all their money into Messi. What would you? I mean, listen, Gundo is just absolute different gravy, isn't he, by the way, this year. But would you be
Would
on
I?
that? Some people have been saying they don't want anyone from Man City, but would you take Gundo on a free?
Listen, people could talk about they don't know one from Man City. The two players from Man City helped us go in a title challenge and finish second. Especially him, who's a match winner. I would take him all day and 3 times on a Sunday. I'm telling you now. This guy he's incredible, mate. And you know what as well, Curtis? He's another player who the dressing room would look up to, and he can teach some of these younger players. Remember, we're going to sign a couple of young players as well.
Yeah.
How to do it, how to get over the line. Don't run there. Stay here. Be a bit more economical. Whereas we're hell for leather. No, stay here. Be calm. He's got that experience. Listen, if he does the treble, what more is it for him to do at Man City? If he wins they win the treble on Saturday, what more is there for him to do at Man City?
Is there a worry, Kev, though, if he wins the treble, like his belly's full? You don't need no more dinner.
Well, it looks like you need a challenge, doesn't he? Because you know what, Curtis? Anytime your belly full, you sit down and you rest up. But the moment there's a challenge, that's what gets. He's been captain of Man City. That's when he's all right. This on his resume, for all he done for City, if he could help Arsenal get over the line, that's massive. Because remember, Man City and Arsenal is not the same size. Let's have it right.
Yeah. Put that out there. I'm all for that.
We are not the same size. They've done a wonderful job at Man City, and they've spent the money, and they do what they do. We're the team in London, mate. That's where it's happening. So if he could come 2 year, I got no problem with it. If he could come and help our youngsters get even to the next level, so be it, Curtis, because he's a match winner.
I'm not going to lie, Gundo is a player that I've always rated, since Dortmund. But the last couple of years, I'm like, do you know what? I think we've got to start putting this guy in that top bracket. Like you're talking about
world class. He's
world class centre midfielder.
He is world class. He is. Listen, I was pitch side when we played them at their place.
Oh,
City
damn! I wouldn't want to have been there.
But Gundogan, by the way, you know what? A lot of the time he goes around and just goes about his business, Curtis. Don't say nothing. He just goes about his business. And people see De Bruyne and all that. But without that guy, I'm telling you, it don't happen. He'll go deep up beside Rodri. So what does that do to Arsenal midfield? What? You got to come in it. You got to come for him. Quick touch, ball gets played over. De Bruyne, Gundogan breaking from midfield. You see him scored 2 goals. He scored. Was it the last 2 years in the league? Bang bang when they were down. Bang
Villa,
bang.
yeah, got the 2 goals, yeah. 2 in the FA Cup final.
Bang bang bang. He's a G. He's a G. He's a G.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said just quickly there, you was pitch side of that game at the Etihad. Do you think were we too open that day? Because a lot of people saying after the game that we went for City and it created a situation. You know, what did you make of the
No,
way we approached?
we weren't too open, but City. I spoke with John Stones after the game,
I saw that interview. Yeah,
and
very good.
if you hear what John Stones was saying, they used Haaland against Holding because they knew Haaland could get the better of. He didn't go up against Gabriel. He went up against Holding because they knew Arsenal were going to go for them, and if they try and play through, Arsenal could trap them. So they'll play quality balls into Haaland. They know Holding's a grappler. The moment Holding starts to grapple and he gets booked, Curtis,
Finished.
he's done. But he couldn't even get hold of Haaland. And if you listen, let me tell you something. If that's Saliba, Haaland don't get that space. Because physically, Saliba's a monster.
Yeah.
But they saw a crease at the Emirates, which they thought, okay. Then then no Saliba there. Holding was there, so they thought, let's work on this. We can spring. And they sprung us. And once you go down in those games, you're away. You know, it's they're happy to keep the ball, Curtis. So they played with economy.
Yeah.
You know, we tried, but we just, at the end of the day, we just weren't good enough. It's that simple.
I think, like you said, with that ruthless nature, no disrespect, but it's time for the, Holdings and these guys got to go, aren't
they? Again, Curtis, with that,
yeah,
come here, mate. You've done well for us. Come here, let me get a Brock his neck. Sorry, it's just the ruthless nature of the game. Holding's a good guy. He's done good for our club, but the levels have moved on again now.
Definitely. I think the sad thing about the Man City games, and listen, we may not have won them anyway, but you look at the home game, no Thomas Partey, no Gabriel Jesus. Eddie missed 2 big chances in that game. And then we go to the Etihad and no Saliba. I know you're always likely to have injuries, but against City, you just felt like everyone needed.
Don't you?
We needed all of them.
Yeah, you need your best team to have a chance. You do.
Yeah.
And but Curtis, you know what? Unfortunately, or fortunately for that matter, we find out who can hack it and who can't.
Yeah.
We couldn't hack it without our full side. So that's it. So we know now. So we have to make the adjustments.
Just a couple more transfer stories I wanted to run through. Nimbo, if you're listening, cover your ears because he don't like it when I bring.
Hey, come here, mate. Come here, Brock.
But we're being linked again with Zaha. I mean, it's the guy we've been linked with for years, man. But
yeah, I can't see that happening at the moment. I can't see it happening anymore.
Yeah,
I just can't see it. Quality player that he is, he's starting to pick up a few injuries now.
He is.
And we know we need players who are going to be able to last. And I think Zaha's a quality player, but when you're picking up that many injuries now, just playing Premier League, we've got that. We're going to hopefully have that many games that I just don't see it.
No. Okay. Well, that dream's over. No, really. No, I don't see it happening either. To be honest, I don't see
on the money he'll want as well.
200.
I think we've got. Yeah, I think we've got bigger
fish to
We've got
fry.
bigger fish to fry elsewhere,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Balogun, an interesting one. 21 league goals in France. Year left on his deal at Arsenal. Just been called up for America. They're saying his agent is asking the question, how much game time is he likely to get at Arsenal? What would you do with that situation? Do you put him in front of Eddie and move Eddie, or do you just cash in on Balogun while there's a lot of hype around him? What's your feeling?
Cash him with a buyback because Balogun, he's had the taste of playing week in, week out now. He
Yeah,
cannot go back to being on a bench. It's not going to work. And I'm sure he wants to continue playing because he's got that rhythm.
yeah,
So I think you say to yourself, okay, would he start in our team? I don't think Balogun would start. I
no,
think get a chance from the bench at times, yeah. But if he's not going to start in our team, we get to Champions League, he's not going to start in the Champions League either. So I'd rather cash in, get some money for him, and have a buyback. Because if he goes away and he tears it up and he proves himself, then we know, right, okay, we got 40 million for him or whatever it is, and we have to buy him back for 80. So it's costing us 40. No problem. I'm happy with that. But the level we're going to, I think we need proven. And we've got a real need for other positions, Kurt, big time. Our midfield might cost us a real bit of money.
Mm.
So
Do you have any worries about? I mean, obviously, Jesus was out for 3 months last season. He had a couple of injuries at City as well. Do you have any concerns that if Jesus was to be injured or out of form, that Eddie in the Champions League is not going to be good enough?
look, I think Eddie shocked and surprised a few people because obviously of when Jesus went down in the World Cup, everybody was doom and gloom, and Eddie really kept us on track. And yeah, he's not probably one for a season or whatever. And injuries are part and parcel of the game. We know that. That's why I think we mentioned earlier on about Ivan Toney or a Vlahovic or Osimhen, or one of them will be ideal for us.
Yeah.
But here's the crazy thing. That isn't the worst part of our team, Curtis. Attacking, we score goals by committee. We have all these players on double figures, which is massive for a team. I think that's one part Mikel Arteta's got really right, is we share the goals out. The big problem we had was, in the end, stopping teams from scoring.
Yeah.
That was our problem. Because we scored goals, Kurt, but in the end, we started letting goals in. That's down to lack of depth, lack of quality in the end, and lack of legs. So I think the need, just like I said before, the need for us maybe isn't a 20-odd goal striker. The need for us maybe is to strengthen everywhere else so the opposition don't score. So that gives us a chance to win. Because if you find yourself behind, then we're talking plan B. But if you're not behind, you don't need a plan B. All you need to do is work a way out to win the game. And that's what City do.
Yeah.
City keep it tight. The next minute they score a goal, second half, then they score one more, 2-0. Thank you very much.
I saw a thing. I think last season was our joint highest goals scored in the Premier League, 88 goals. So, like you said, even though I would like a striker, a different option, scoring goals doesn't seem to be the problem. We started conceding, especially at home as well, which was great. I saw that we've got a better away record than Man City had last year.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing, you see, Curtis. At home, to get the right balance and to be ruthless, I mean, You tell me the last time you've seen Arsenal concede 2 goals in the first minute of a game.
Crazy that, innit?
What's going on? And I know one of them was the kickoff. One of them was like, but you still got to defend it.
Yeah.
And that, little things like that, we just haven't been good enough. So there has to be a ruthless streak. And I don't just mean ruthless streak attacking wise. I think ruthless streak defensively as well. Listen, teams come to the Emirates, you got to know you're getting broke up. That's it. There's no messing around. If you hold tree, you're lucky. You know what I mean? If you hold tree, you're lucky. But it's been a fortress, but we've been too nice. Now we got to get nasty. We got to broke people's neck proper.
Well, for me, Kev, I mean, like you said, we got this young team, but I think that midfield now needs some legs. We got 4 30-plus-year-old midfielders. I think the game's so quick nowadays. We need. That's why they're probably looking at Rice and Caicedo and players like that. I mean, we didn't speak about him. But what do you make of Caicedo? Because he's a player I'm a big fan of as well. But they're saying Chelsea are going all out for him now as well.
Chelsea got no Champions League football, right? That's one. And I know sometimes that don't matter, but it's going to matter this summer because we offer Champions League football. And he wants to come to us.
But so did Mudryk.
No, but Mudryk's a different kettle of fish. Solely because that got hijacked, and what they offered him was ridiculous. So when you're a young guy and listen, let me tell you something, Curtis. If anybody here looks back on when Mudryk signed at Chelsea, they announced him on the pitch. The man looked like he was going to a funeral.
Yeah, he didn't look happy. He definitely
didn't want to be there, but the money was that good. An 8-year contract, Curtis. It was too good to be true. So that's why he said, you know what, I could secure my family for life here.
But remember Caicedo in January, Kev? Man was talking about, I got 10 brothers and sisters. I can, I want Arsenal. If Chelsea say, listen, man, so we got to turn up with big money as well.
Yeah, but you see, our financial power now, Curtis, is a bit different because now we're in the Champions League. So whereas Chelsea could dangle a Champions League carrot, now they can't.
Yeah.
So they could say, we'll give you X. Yeah, but you're not even in the Champions League. That's what was getting leveled. You see, because that used to get leveled at us, Curtis, when we weren't in the Champions League. Yeah. You're going to struggle to sign players. Now, the roles are reversed. Now we've got to utilize this position. Yeah, we might not give you exactly what Chelsea get, but you know what? You come to us, you're going to be playing in the Champions League. That's how you're going to make your money up. All right, Caicedo said, yeah, cool. I got 10 brothers and sisters who can love it at the Emirates. Nice. Hey, but he's a ball-winning machine, interceptor, fit as a fiddle, up and down, and he's everywhere. He's our type of midfielder, Kurt. Our type of midfielder. And some people are saying to me, but we're not going to sign both of them. Why not? Rice and Peas and Caicedo. Why not? Remember, if we're serious, we make the adjustments. We make that adjustments and we go and sign players who are going to make a real difference in your team. I think these two will.
I tell you what, if they sign both of that, I'll be shocked, honestly, because again, man, I'm going off the PTSD, Kev. Like, I'll be.
You've not seen it. We've not seen it.
We've not seen that.
But what would that tell you about the ownership? That would tell you about the ownership that they're very serious, and that's why we're gonna know. You got a chance of getting these two players. These are difference makers in your team. They are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So would Mikel Arteta want to work? 100% he'd want to work with these two. And you got the chance to work with them for the next 10 years. It's cheap. I know it's a lot of money what it looks like now, but it's cheap money when you
over
consider
the.
you won't really need to revamp the midfield for a while, and there's an opportunity to pick up a player or two as a free. So
Mm. Yeah,
even
yeah,
better.
you're right. You're right there. Listen, big up everyone tuned in. I'm going to start rounding up shortly. 2.5K. Make sure you lick that like button. It wouldn't be a show, Kev, without me mentioning the manager because we've had a lot of conversations about the manager over the years, shall we say? And
Yeah.
listen, I think I've given him a lot of flowers this season, and rightly so. I was surprised by how well he's done this season. Obviously, at the end, it's fizzled out and hasn't worked. Some of that, I think, is his fault. Some of it, maybe not, because he didn't get the players he necessarily asked for in January, or maybe not the first ones anyway. Where are you at with the manager now? What do you want to see with him moving forward? And because a different expectation is on him this season, isn't it? It's not top four. It's we want to see you
It's
lifting
trophies.
trophy.
It's
Yeah,
trophies. Now,
yeah,
for me, I think the manager he's finished his apprenticeship.
I agree with that.
The apprenticeship
Totally.
is over.
Yeah,
Now he's a professional. He's going into the big boy league now. Now all the pressure's on. And I want to see him get ruthless. No room for sentiment. And you could love your players and all that. But I truly believe, and he needs help, Curtis. This is what I will say. He needs help from the owners. He needs
yeah,
help from Edu. He does. In order to get the team and get the players in that he needs. Because we've seen him learn on the job. And at times we didn't like it, losing the first 3 games last season with no shots. I mean, you remember that? That was, and then going into international, that was painful.
oh,
So there's been growing pains. We've battled on air before, Curtis. But let's be honest, we have seen some progress and we've seen some positivity. But now is when it really matters. What he has to do now, he has to transition us from this young, exciting team
yeah,
into a team that are serious and ruthless enough to win silverware. That's what he's got to do. And I know he's got an FA Cup, which was great. But now the pressure's on for him to deliver. And that's what you got to do. And
yeah,
that's what I believe. That's why he needs the Cronkies. That's why he needs Edu. He needs everybody. He's going to need us during the season, which is fine, because the Arsenal fans have been incredible this season.
yeah.
But he's going to have to get that squad right, because now there's more pressure because there's Champions League.
Do you know what? I can't believe how much we're agreeing today. But the way you came in there was spot on. Apprenticeship's done now. You're going to work. Yeah, it's time to get to work now. You've learned. You've had the patience. You've had the backing. He's got to produce now, Annie, because most managers don't get 4 seasons. Well, 3.5, I think he's had 3.5, 4 seasons at a club, and continue to get back when we've had rocky times, So
Yeah, but we're not most clubs, Curtis.
yeah, you're
Arsenal
right.
aren't most clubs.
Mm,
Arsenal are one of the clubs in the world, and we do things a certain way. And sometimes it frustrates us. Of course it does. But I think Arsenal have been doing it right. I do. I truly believe they've been doing it right, because we could have chucked money at it and got worse. But like we've just said, the apprenticeship is over. That's done. The YTS program is done. Now you're in the big boy league. Now we need a squad that we can rely on, that we could say we're built to go the whole distance. Not how we're going to do. We're built to go the whole distance. And that's what we need. If we don't get that, if we don't sign the right players, the fans they're gonna complain. Of course they're gonna complain. Because you don't get into be in this position that often, Curtis, and drop the bag. You've got to strengthen.
Mm.
This is where we strengthen, and we strengthen seriously now, because if we're serious, we make the right adjustments, and we go to win.
I mean, you said there he needs a lot of help as well, which I agree with you. Is Edu as well. Obviously, the Cronkies, the money's got to come from them. Edu's got to negotiate these big deals now, hasn't
Yeah, he does. But you know what, Curtis? Whereas before, Edu had to convince people to come because this is the project.
he? Yeah,
Now, everyone witnessed what's happening at Arsenal. Now we're in the Champions League, back in the Champions League. Arsenal's the place to be again. So he doesn't have to negotiate too hard. It's just a
yeah,
matter of the numbers. And if you're going for top players, the numbers are going to be big anyway.
yeah.
So listen, Edu's probably should be the best year of Edu at Arsenal.
Because it's easier, like you said.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
easier. Should
yeah,
be easier to negotiate with anybody. You want to come? Come sit down. You know what I mean? Come sit down. Let's
yeah,
talk numbers.
yeah,
Because
yeah. It's one of them. Yeah,
you know he
it's
knows
one.
the only club in London who's in the Champions League. That in itself is a game changer.
Yeah. I'm gonna start rounding up now. The time's been flying, but it's been a great show.
I
Big
got
up to
time, mate.
everyone.
Don't worry. I got time.
All right, we'll carry on then. Don't worry, no rush. But
No
I was
rush.
gonna ask you, who would be your player of the season?
Odegaard. Definitely Odegaard this season. And I know there's a quite a few players who run him close,
Mm,
because I think we've had a really good season, title charge and all that kind of thing. I just think Odegaard, to score the amount of goals he scored, the assist, to play the way he's played, and he's not always played fantastically well. But one thing do you know what? When I watch him, he works hard, Curtis.
yeah,
And
yeah, he
some
does.
people don't. They look at him for, you know, he's got to get a grip of the game and all this kind of thing. There ain't many players in the world over the years who's been able to grab a game by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah,
But he has impacted games in certain ways that maybe people haven't realized. So I just think, and I think this season there was a lot of fans who there was a steward's inquiry on him. They weren't sure whether he was the guy, but I think he proved that he was the guy. Bossy J just put Martin. I thought Martinelli had a great season.
yeah,
Saka had another good season. Party had a good season. Xhaka had a good season. Jesus up injury and then came back, finding his form. Ramsdale a good season. Gabriel Magalhaes at the back, I thought was outstanding. Saliba up until his injury was incredible. Ben White at right back, who many went, "What are we doing putting him at right back?" I thought he had a good,
yeah, yeah,
good season at right back. Zinchenko kind of fell away at the end, but I thought he made a real difference to us. It playing that inverted fullback, and I think
yeah,
Ramsdale made a couple of mistakes in the end, but I thought he had a sensational season again. Kept us in big games, big saves. So we've had a good, positive season. Didn't
mm,
quite get what we needed, some silverware, but what a platform to build on now. Second in the league. I want to win it. This is
mm,
next season. I want to be able to say this squad could win it. That's what I want.
yeah. Just to your Odegaard comment there, I mean, I've been quite harsh on him at times, but what I will say about him, the numbers he's produced this season, outstanding. And he never hides. He always wants the ball. And he's somebody that you look at as a striker and you think you wouldn't mind him in the attacking midfield because he's clever. His game IQ is
He'll spot
very
you.
high.
He'll spot
He'll
you. You
spot
make the
you.
run, he'll spot you.
He'll spot you, man. And you think his age, what, 23, 24? He's never really
Maybe.
settled at a club, has he? This is his home now. So I think the sky's the limit for him, man. I think he can really become a top player.
Yeah, I think all of these players are going to start becoming top players together.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We want them all maturing and developing as one. We need a little bit more spice. You're cooking the meat and there's no Scotch bonnet in there, so you have to drop one in.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't bust it. Just put the Scotch bonnet in and put the top on,
yeah,
and
yeah,
let the heat season it a little bit more. You
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean, Curtis? That's what we need. We need a bit more, but I think we've got good fundamentals. We've got a good squad, good young squad, but we just need a bit more spice.
We need that. We need that. Like I always say, I remember the feeling when we signed, Alexis or Aubameyang or Ozil or, when they came through the door, you knew that something was going to happen. Do you know what I mean? You just knew, like, the level's so high. I just think we need one of them, one or two, three of them. Couple man will do the dirty work and be a bit nasty for us as well. But just that
What do you
game
think of that?
changer.
What do you think of that Xavi Simons at
I,
PSV?
I like that, brother. I think he's a baller.
Me too.
I would
And if
take
you
him.
could get him, you see now, would you give up the striker to get somebody who's attacking, he finished top scorer at PSV?
I saw
Somebody
that.
like him who can do bits from behind. Do you know what I mean? He can play anywhere across there.
Yeah, he's a baller.
So would you give up your striker, your number 9, for a Simons?
Do you know what, Kev? I'm going to be totally honest. I want the striker more. I'm going to
Okay.
be honest. I'm going to be because
No, fair.
only
Fair.
because we're second seeds in the Champions League, which means we could hold a Real Madrid or Bayern Munich from day one.
We're going to get somebody.
We're going to get
hot.
somebody big.
We're going to get somebody hot. That's for sure.
Someone's got. I can't watch us Tuesday night. Bernabeu. Jesus got a little knock. No disrespect, but I've waited a long time. I don't want to see Eddie up front in the Bernabeu. I'm sorry. A lot of people are thinking it. I'm saying it. I don't want to see Eddie at the Bernabeu against Rudiger. Rudiger chew him up and spit him out, man. I need a Ivan Toney or a something else there just to
Or
rough them,
Vlahovic
man.
or
Yeah,
Osimhen
man.
or. But
Kev, you used to do it. Back to goal, just hold that brother there. The strong arm, just you ain't going nowhere.
But this is again Arsenal right now. If they're stronger in midfield, then you dominate.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you dominate the ball, you look at City. What City done to poor Real Madrid? City,
Yeah.
they were broken arm. Then they broke
Everything.
the other arm. They broke leg. In the end, there was a Real Madrid on a what is it? Like a seal business. They were, you know what I mean? They were a seal thing, bro.
They managed to sliver their way out.
Sliver their way out the building.
It was mad.
So, but because they kept the ball. And I'm not saying we are that, but Mikel Arteta wants to dominate the ball like that.
Yeah, yeah.
He does.
He does.
So, listen, I get it. Listen, I'm greedy. I want a striker too. But when I look at Mikel Arteta, I don't think he's hell-bent on a striker.
He's not. He's definitely not. He's not. I think he's building it off what Pep had before with no out and out. You're going to have more like a false 9. Goals come from everywhere, innit?
Yeah.
Just quickly, I want to ask you about Smith Rowe. Had a difficult season, sat on the bench a lot. I don't know if you saw yesterday, I was having a bit of a laugh, but he's tattooed "trust the process" on his hip, which I thought, you know what I mean? Considering Arteta's been saying that for a long time, but some people have been saying, is his future Villa linked with him? But I think Arteta and that they've come out and said next season's a big year for him. He's going nowhere. What do you think with Smith Rowe? Because I think he's a top talent, but I've always felt like, has he nailed down a position? Is he a number 8? Is he a left winger? Is he a number 10? And is that going against him a little bit?
Yeah, I think it is. I think the fact of the matter is, and this is the truth, Curtis. If you are Emile Smith Rowe and you're seeing Granit Xhaka run things in the team, you've got to be questioning yourself, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Because this is a player who Granit Xhaka is a decent player who improved this season to a level where you're saying, I've never seen Granit Xhaka play like this at Arsenal.
Yeah.
But if you're Smith Rowe, you're saying, hold on a minute, he's just moved the goalpost again. Because I scored, and let's be honest, he scored double figures in the previous season.
Yeah.
Fair enough, he's had a little bit of an injury and stuff. But the reason why he can't get in is because he can't hit the heights. Let's have it right, everybody. Emil Smith Rowe is a talented kid. And I've heard that he's been learning that number 8 role.
Okay,
because he has to tie down. He's not a winger. So we're not going to get away with that one anymore. Martinelli's smashed that one.
Mm.
What type of player is he? Because Emil Smith Rowe, I think, is a number 8. Going forward, he's good, but defensively, he's not there. He's not a Xhaka. He's not there. And you have to be able to do both in the Premier League, especially in the big games. And I don't think he's been there. So I believe he's been working at it in on the training ground to get that right. What game was it where he came on? Who were we playing? We played a team at home. When he came on, Saka went down first half, and then he came on. And then we had to take him off late on in the second half and bring him Reece Nelson on. Could you remember that one?
Yeah.
Was it? It wasn't Bournemouth. It wasn't Bournemouth, or was it? No, it was.
Now Saka was on the pitch at Bournemouth still.
Yeah, I'm just thinking there was a game at home. Chat, help me out. There was a game at home where Saka went off first half, and Emil Smith Rowe came on.
And he came back off then, didn't he?
And he came back off late on in the. Why? Because he was still trying to get up to speed. Because the level of the team
has gone.
Curtis, the level of the team had moved on. It had moved on. So Smith Rowe, the young lad who can just come in and play the way he wants. No. There's no room. We haven't got room for that anymore. You've got to be able to knuckle down, do your job, going that way and coming back this way. And I think there's a realization now that, okay, these youngsters came in and done Saka and Emil Smith Rowe, this is all going great. But there's a realization, Curtis. You want to be a top team? You want to be a top player? You've got to have that value in this team both ways. Just going one way isn't enough because it's not what we need. We need both ways. And I think that realization,
I think you're right.
Has hit him now.
I think you're right, because when he talks about him, he's using language about. He was saying certain things about Pepe before, and now he's saying it's almost as if he's questioning his hunger, his fitness. Is he living right? It was like, okay, you might have been a star before, but we've gone up a level, and you're still at the same level. So if you want to be a part of it, you got to go up again. So I just hope with Smith Rowe, he's fit now. He'll have the full preseason. Last year, he didn't have the preseason. So I hope he's got that realization, because I think there's a big talent there, man. But
big time.
They're not going to wait for him, are they? That's the problem.
No, well, look, I think, again, this season is going to be a prove-it season that's coming. Prove to me that, one, you're probably going to have to get another contract if he does the business. So prove to me you're worthy of another contract. Prove to me you can play Champions League football. Prove to me you can be a difference maker, Curtis. And prove to me when you get in the team, in whatever capacity, in whatever competition, you can do the business. You don't let the team down. That unfortunately, or fortunately for that matter, Curtis, is the name of the game now. We put these caps and we hold these players on pedestals.
It's one of them, isn't it? It's sink or swim, man.
Curtis, it's sink or swim, because you know what, Curtis? If we get down the line and we win it, Do we care who we've got rid of?
No, no, we
No,
don't.
we don't.
No.
We care about winning. We're the Arsenal. We care about winning. And it's been a while since we've had this feeling of, we should have won that. Now we've got to go again. So if the soup is too hot, you have to leave it.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's true. It is true. And listen, I'd be saying to him, you came through at a similar time to Saka, and look at Saka starting for England, massive contract, star boy, plays every week. That's where you've got to get to or
That's where
aim
you
for.
should be.
Yeah,
Show me.
yeah,
Curtis, show me. You know,
yeah.
all this talk about this, that, the other. The bottom line is the players. Show me.
It's the players.
Show me. I know you've been saying that all this time, Curtis.
It only took me a couple of years to. In the end, I was like, you know what? Maybe Kev's right. Maybe it is the players, man. Maybe it is.
You see, because Curtis, as fans,
Mm,
you do your watch-alongs and all that. We've
yeah.
got to trust them to do the business.
Mm,
That's what we have to do. We have to trust them to get over the line for us. That's the ultimate trust from us as fans. So
yeah.
we need the players to perform. That's it. The players have to perform. If they don't perform, Curtis, the bottom line is they might be getting the curly finger, bro. You know what I
Come
mean?
here. And yeah, then you're gone.
And you're gone.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's true. But listen, Kev, I really appreciate you coming on today. It's been a great show. Hour and 15 flown by. I'll get you on again throughout the summer, but I know
Yeah.
you're a busy man. But any shows coming up or anything you want to let the people know, or what you doing?
No, I don't want them to know nothing about me.
Okay, all right.
I don't want them to know nothing. I done a
You're
show
just
with
gonna
Egal yesterday.
Oh, yeah,
And this is obviously this is the show. I done the hybrid squad yesterday,
yeah.
and yeah, I'm listen. I've got bits to do for humanitarian work and stuff like that. So I keep myself busy. So I won't. You won't see me on a lot of podcasts.
All right.
You won't see me on any podcast for the rest of the week probably. So
Yeah, yeah.
so you can milk this one, Curtis.
Oh yeah, don't worry. I'll promote this one everywhere. So yeah, big up yourself, Kev. Really appreciate you coming on. Big up everyone tuned in. 2.5K locked in. I'll be back on tomorrow with a buy, keep, loan show. So that'll be interesting. But Kev, thank you for your time as always, brother.
You're welcome, man. Thanks again, everybody. Take it easy. And
Take it.
listen, whatever happens,